Hello, dear friends. Do you know that one of the oldest and most fascinating civilizations in the world is still alive today through its mysteries, great pharaohs, pyramids, and religious secrets? In today's video, you will learn everything about ancient Egypt, the fertile lands of the Nile River, the power of the pharaohs, the wonders of the Great Pyramids and the Sphinx, the old language of hieroglyphics, their religion, interesting mummification rituals, daily life aspects, and astonishing historical facts that you may have never heard before. Believe me, after watching this video, you will want to know every secret and reality of ancient Egypt. So make sure to watch the video till the end. Do you know that one of the greatest and oldest civilizations is still alive today through its mysterious history and cultural heritage? Yes, I am talking about ancient Egypt, which flourished along the Nile River and had a deep impact on world history for thousands of years. You may have never imagined that this land was filled with pyramids, pharaohs, gods, and historical wonders. Every pyramid hides a royal story, and every statue tells a secret. Imagine the fertile lands along the Nile River, where people cultivated crops and developed their great civilization. For the Egyptians, the Nile River was not just a source of water, but the center of life and civilization. Do you know that Egypt's history can be divided into several periods, such as the pre-dynastic period, Old Kingdom, Middle Kingdom, New Kingdom, and Late Period? Each era saw kingdoms, advancements, and new inventions. The Old Kingdom is called the Age of Pyramids. Believe it or not, this was the period when the Great Pyramid of Giza was built. Can you imagine that this structure is still one of the 7 wonders of the world? Pyramids were not only tombs for pharaohs, but also contained essential items, jewelry, and food to be used in the afterlife. This concept of the afterlife meant that a person could use the same items after death as they did in life. Have you heard of hieroglyphics? The Egyptians invented a writing system based on pictorial symbols. Each symbol told a story and was used for religion, marriage, history, and daily life. Have you heard of the Rosetta Stone? It was discovered in 1799 and allowed us to understand hieroglyphics. Now we can read the ancient language written thousands of years ago. Pharaohs were not only rulers, but also considered representatives of the gods. Their power and authority were unimaginable, and their decisions affected all of Egypt. Famous pharaohs include Tutankhamun, Ramses, and Cleopatra. They achieved great feats and made their mark in the world through pyramids, temples, and historical monuments. The Egyptians also excelled in astronomy. They used the Nile's seasonal changes and the stars to calculate years, seasons, and calendars. It is amazing that this knowledge was used thousands of years ago. Egypt's economy mainly relied on agriculture, the Nile River, and trade. Wheat, barley, flax, and trade items like gold, linen, and papyrus were important commodities. Have you heard of papyrus? It was used not only for writing, but also to make boats, maps, ropes, and various objects. Can you imagine how much it contributed to Egypt's advancement? It elevated Egypt from the land to the sky. Ancient Egyptian religion included many gods and goddesses, such as the god of the afterlife, Isis, Horus, Osiris, and the sun god. Each deity was responsible for different aspects of life, and temples were built for their worship. Have you heard of mummification? According to Egyptian beliefs, this practice preserved the body and prepared it for life after death. It is incredible how this tradition lasted for thousands of years. Do you know that Tutankhamun's tomb, discovered by Howard Carter in 1922, became world famous? It contained a golden mask, jewelry, and valuable items reflecting the pharaoh's life and beliefs. Egyptian monuments, such as temples and statues, still showcase their engineering and artistic skills. Every column and statue tells a historical and religious story. Statues and obelisks were part of Egypt's culture and religion. Every monument, carving, and statue narrates the story of its time. Egyptian society had different classes, such as the pharaoh's class, soldiers, traders, nobles, common people, and slaves. Each class had its own responsibilities, rights, and position. Education was mostly available for boys who trained as scribes and priests. Scribes were skilled in writing and record-keeping and held important roles in governance. Egyptian clothing was made of linen, with both men and women wearing simple and comfortable garments. Jewelry and cosmetics indicated social and religious status. Cosmetics were not only for beauty, but also to protect the eyes from the sun and infections. Eyeliner was very common, and it was made naturally. The Egyptians were skilled in mathematics, which helped build the pyramids and complex structures. Geometry and measurement principles were part of their engineering. Egyptians excelled in medicine. They used herbs, bandages, and basic surgical techniques to treat diseases. Ancient Egyptians were truly amazing. Egyptian trade routes reached distant regions such as Nubia, the Levant, and the Mediterranean spices. These were essential items that strengthened Egypt's economy. Boats were vital for trade and travel on the Nile River. Both canoes and large boats were used, and life on the Nile was impossible without them. Egyptian literature included mathematics, poetry, religious texts, and wisdom literature. The Book of the Dead was used for rituals and guidance in the afterlife. Apart from hieroglyphics, Egyptians also used hieratic and demotic scripts for daily life, trade, and administrative records. Egyptian monuments and paintings depicted life scenes, food, hunting, war, and everyday activities. These serve as primary sources for historians today. Proportion and symbolism were very important in Egyptian art. Every picture carried meaning, with colors having religious or social significance. Egypt's army was very strong. During the Pharaoh's era, land was expanded through wars. Chariots, archers, and foot soldiers were essential. Sundials and water clocks were used to measure time, which were among the world's oldest clocks and helped track calendars accurately. Women in ancient Egypt were relatively free. They could own land, do business, and exercise legal rights. Can you imagine that women had such rights even in that era? Egyptian housing ranged from simple to luxurious structures. Pharaohs' palaces were magnificent, while common people lived in mud houses. Regarding Egyptian religion and beliefs, the concept of the afterlife was very important. They imagined life after death, and pyramids and tomb rituals reflected this belief. Monumental architecture and large statues were common during the Pharaohs' era, still fascinating for historians. Discoveries like pyramids, tombs, and artifacts are preserved in museums worldwide, connecting people with history and culture. The ancient Egyptian civilization gave the world immense contributions in architecture, mathematics, writing systems, medicine, astronomy, and art. Even today, scholars and travelers draw inspiration from it. Finally, I want to say that ancient Egypt is a civilization that still amazes us today. Its pyramids, monuments, and artifacts tell the story of an ancient world that continues to inspire historians, archaeologists, and travelers alike. Goodbye.